Let us continue salt analysis. In the salt analysis, let us see dry heating test. In the dry heating test, we will take chloride salt. Chloride salt gives Cl2. Chloride salt on dry heating gives Cl2. Next, we will take bromide salt. Bromide salt on dry heating gives bromine. Bromide salt on dry heating gives bromine. Next, we will take iodide salt. Iodide salt on dry heating gives iodine. Iodide salt on dry heating gives iodine. Okay. So chloride gives Cl2, bromide gives Br2, iodide gives I2. Okay. Now color of these gases. Cl2 greenish yellow. Cl2 color is greenish yellow. Cl2 color is greenish yellow. Br2 color is reddish brown. Br2 color is reddish brown. And I minus color is this iodine I2. Iodine I2 color is violet. Iodine I2 violet. I2 color is violet. All are pungent gases. All are pungent smell. Cl2, Br2, I2, all are pungent smell. Sorry. Now, what is the test? We will see. Test Cl2 with moisture. With moisture gives HCl and HClO. Cl2 with water gives HCl and HClO. Cl2 with water gives HCl and HClO. HClO is called hypochlorous acid. See, because of this acidic nature, it converts blue litmus into red litmus. Blue litmus into red litmus. Now HClO is hypochlorous acid. HClO easily decomposes to give HCl and nascent oxygen. Due to nascent oxygen, this red litmus becomes colorless. Colorless. It is called bleaching. It is called bleaching. It is called bleaching. So Cl2 with water gives HCl and HClO. HCl is an acid. It converts blue litmus into red. HClO is called hypochlorous acid. Hypochlorous acid on decomposition gives HCl and nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen oxidizes this red. So this red litmus becomes colorless. This process is called bleaching. This process we can say as bleaching. Okay. Next test for Cl2. Next test for Cl2. Now we will take starch iodide paper. We will take starch iodide paper. We will take or starch iodide solution. We will take. We are taking a starch iodide solution. Starch iodide solution will take or starch iodide paper will take. To this, what is passed? Cl2 gas is passed. Cl2 gas is passed into this. What is the reaction? Cl2 reacts with iodide. Iodide is I minus. Iodide is I minus. Cl2 reacts with iodide I minus. Now Cl2 undergoes a reduction to give Cl minus. I minus undergoes oxidation to give iodine. Cl2 undergoes a reduction because of its oxidizing power is high. Oxidizing power order of oxidizing power. Order of oxidizing power for halogens. Order of oxidizing power. Order of oxidizing power. What is the order in the sense F2 greater than Cl2 greater than Br2 greater than I2 oxidizing power. Therefore Cl2 undergoes a reduction. Cl2 undergoes a reduction. I minus undergoes oxidation. I minus undergoes oxidation. Now the iodine is produced. This iodine and starch. Starch is a polymer. Starch is a polymer which is a spiral ring like this. It is a starch. It is a polymer. Now iodine goes inside this polymeric chain. Iodine goes inside this polymeric chain. Iodine goes inside this polymeric chain like this. Iodine goes inside the polymeric chain like this. It is called a starch iodine complex. It is called a starch iodine complex. It is called a starch iodine complex, which has a blue color, which is having blue color. It is showing blue color. So here in this test, starch iodide solution we can take, otherwise starch iodide paper we can take. Now Cl2 is passed into starch iodide solution. Cl2 and this Cl2 and this I minus. Cl2 is undergoing reduction, I minus undergoing oxidation. This iodine goes into this starch. Starch is a starch is a polymer. It is having the polymeric chain is like this spiral chain. Inside the spiral chain, empty gap is there. In that empty gap, iodine occupies. Now, this is called a starch iodine complex, which has a blue color. Starch iodine complex has a blue color. So, for Cl2, what are the tests? For Cl2 is greenish yellow color. It is pungent odor. It is test is with moisture. It gives HCl and HClO. HCl is an acid which turns blue litmus into red. HClO is hypochlorous acid which decomposes to give HCl and nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen turns red litmus into colorless. This process is called bleaching. Now this starch iodide solution will take to this Cl2 gas will pass. Now Cl2 is undergoing reduction. I minus, this iodide I minus is undergoing oxidation. Now the produced iodine goes into the starch polymer. The produced iodine goes into the starch polymer. Starch is a polymeric chain. Polymeric chain. In this polymeric chain, in this spiral, empty gap is there. In this empty gap, which is occupying, means this iodine is occupying. Now this is called a starch iodine complex, which is blue. Which is blue. Sir. Now we will see this bromine. We'll see. Br minus gives a bromine. Br minus gives a bromine. Now the test for bromine. Now this bromine is reddish brown. Bromine is reddish brown and pungent odor. Bromine is reddish brown and pungent smell. Bromine is reddish brown and pungent smell. What is the test? What is the reaction? Now bromine with moisture. Bromine with moisture gives HBr and HBrO as like Cl2. How Cl2 gives HCl and HClO, like this Br2 gives HBr and HBrO. HBr is an acid, therefore it turns blue litmus into red. It turns blue litmus into red. Then HBrO is called hypobromous acid. HBrO on decomposition gives HBr and nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen turns red litmus into this nascent oxygen turns red litmus into colorless. This process is called bleaching. This process is called bleaching. Okay, so bromine with moisture gives HBr and HBrO. HBr is an acid, so it converts blue litmus into red litmus. HBrO is unstable hypobromous acid, which decomposes to give nascent oxygen. Nascent oxygen turns red litmus into colorless, which is bleaching, which is called bleaching. Next, now we will take starch iodide solution. We will take starch iodide solution. Now to the starch iodide solution we can pass bromine vapors. Otherwise we can take starch solution. We'll take starch solution, we are taking not starch iodide. To this we are passing bromine vapors. The bromine vapors with the starch. The bromine vapors with the starch. It is the starch polymeric chain. Starch polymeric chain. Inside the starch polymeric chain, empty gap is there. In the empty gap, bromine occupies. Bromine occupies this empty gap. Bromine occupies this empty gap. Now it is showing color. The color of the complex. The color of the complex is orange yellow. This complex color. This complex is orange yellow in color. Therefore, starch solution with bromine. Starch solution with bromine gives orange yellow. Starch solution with bromine gives orange yellow. Next, this iodine. This I minus gives iodine vapors. Iodine vapors is violet. This is pungent. This is pungent. It is pungent. Now this iodine is passed into starch solution. This starch solution becomes a starch iodine complex. Starch iodine complex. Starch iodine complex is blue. Starch iodine complex is blue. Okay. Now this halides we have taken. Halides on dry heating gives halogens. Halogens are showing like this test. Halogens are showing like this test. Cl minus gives Cl2, Br minus gives Br2, I minus gives I2. Cl2 greenish yellow, Br2 reddish brown, I2 is violet. All these three gases are pungent. Now it is turning blue litmus into red. It also turns blue litmus into red. Red litmus is going for bleaching. Red litmus is going for bleaching. This chlorine, this Cl2 with starch iodide solution gives a blue color. Starch iodide solution with Cl2 gives blue color. Starch solution with bromine gives orange yellow. Starch solution Starch solution with iodine. Starch solution with iodine gives a blue color. Starch solution with iodine gives blue color. Now see, regarding starch solution, starch iodide with Cl2 gives blue color. Starch iodine complex blue color. Starch solution with bromine gives orange yellow. Orange yellow. Starch solution with iodine gives a blue color. Starch iodine complex. Starch iodine complex. So halides shows such a type of dry heating test. Halides are showing dry heating test like this. Next we will take nitrate salt. Next we are taking nitrate salt. Nitrate salt on dry heating. Nitrate salt on heating gives NO2 gas. Nitrate salt on heating gives NO2 gas. Nitrate salt on heating gives NO2 gas. Which nitrate salt on heating gives NO2 gas? Which nitrate salts on heating gives NO2 gas? All the metal nitrates on heating gives NO2 gas. Okay. So all the metal nitrates, all the metal nitrates, all the metal nitrates on dry heating gives NO2 gas. NO2 gas. All the metal nitrates on dry heating gives NO2 gas. Then what is possible in the sense metal oxide is possible. Next possibility is metal oxide. Next possibility is oxygen. Next possibility is oxygen. Metal nitrates. Metal nitrates on heating gives NO2, metal oxide, and oxygen. Sir. Now we will take exception. We'll see exception is what means one is silver nitrate. Silver nitrate on dry heating gives NO2, NO2, O2, and silver oxide. Silver oxide is a metal oxide. This silver oxide is easily undergoing decomposition, therefore it gives silver metal. So here exception is what in the sense silver nitrate. Silver nitrate on dry heating gives NO2, O2 and silver and silver. Why? Because silver oxide can undergo decomposition very easily. Silver oxide undergoes decomposition very easily. So silver nitrate on dry heating gives NO2 gas, O2 gas and silver metal and silver metal. Next exception is mercuric nitrate. Mercuric nitrate on heating gives NO2 gas, O2 gas and metal oxide, mercuric oxide. Mercuric oxide can undergo decomposition very easily to give what? Mercury and oxygen. Mercury and oxygen. So mercuric nitrate is another exception. Mercuric nitrate on dry heating gives NO2 gas, O2 gas and mercury. Why not mercuric oxide? Mercuric oxide can undergo decomposition very easily, therefore it gives mercury and oxygen. So mercuric nitrate on dry heating gives NO2 gas, O2 gas and mercury. Next exception is alkali metal nitrates. Next exception is alkali metal nitrates. In the alkali metal nitrates, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium, not lithium. Okay, sodium nitrate. Sodium nitrate on dry heating gives NaNO2, NaNO2 and O2. NaNO2 and O2. NaNO2 is called nitrite. NaNO2 is called nitrite. Therefore, nitrate on heating gives nitrite and oxygen. Nitrate on heating gives nitrite and oxygen. Then this NaNO2, this NaNO2 on further heating gives what means NO2 and O2, NO2, O2 and sodium oxide. Therefore, NaNO3 on strong heating gives NO2, O2 and Na2O. Na2O. Therefore, NaNO3, NaNO3 on heating gives NaNO3 nitrate on heating gives nitrite, but on strong heating gives NO2, NO2, O2 and metal oxide, NO2, O2 and metal oxide. Similarly, potassium, rubidium and cesium. So generally, metal nitrates on dry heating gives NO2, metal oxide and oxygen. Exception silver nitrate. Silver nitrate on dry heating gives NO2, O2 and silver. Mercuric nitrate is another exception that on dry heating gives NO2, O2 and mercury. Then another exception, alkali metal nitrates in that sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium except lithium. So in these alkali metal nitrates, these nitrates on heating gives nitrite. On further heating, what happens means NO2, O2 and metal oxide will be obtained. Sir, okay. Now we got an idea how the metal nitrates undergo decomposition. Now we will see NO3 minus. So NO3 minus on decomposition gives NO2 gas. NO3 minus on decomposition gives NO2 gas. Okay. NO3 minus on decomposition gives NO2 gas. Even NO2 minus, that is nitrite. Nitrite also on decomposition gives NO2. It is what means a nitrate. It is nitrate. This is a nitrite. This is a nitrite. So nitrate or nitrite on dry heating gives what gas? NO2 gas. NO2 gas. NO2 gas with moisture. NO2 gas with moisture. NO2 gas with moisture, what does it give? NO2 gas with moisture, what does it give? One is HNO2, one is called HNO2, another one is called HNO3. So HNO2 is called nitrous acid, HNO3 is called nitric acid. This reaction is called a disproportionation reaction. Why? Because here nitrogen is having plus 4 oxidation number, here nitrogen is having plus 3 oxidation number. Plus 4 into plus 3 is called a reduction. Here nitrogen is having plus 5 oxidation number. This plus 4, this plus 4 is converting into plus 5, that is called oxidation. Here plus 4 is converting into plus 3, that is called a reduction. So reduction, oxidation both are taking place simultaneously. Therefore it is a disproportionation reaction. Why? Because same substance undergo reduction as well as oxidation. That means nitrogen of NO2 undergoes a reduction as well as oxidation. Therefore it is a disproportionation reaction. Now HNO2 is an acid, HNO3 is an acid. Because of acid, the blue litmus is converting into red litmus. Blue litmus is converting into red litmus. Then this NO2 vapors, next test, NO2 vapors is passed into iodide solution. NO2 vapors is passed into iodide solution. Here iodide is undergoing oxidation to give iodine. NO2 minus undergoing reduction to give NO. Okay. NO2 is undergoing reduction to give NO. Iodide gives I2. So here nitrate salt on thermal decomposition. Nitrate salt on dry heating gives NO2. Nitrite salt on dry heating gives NO2. NO2 with moisture gives HNO2 and HNO3. Since it is an acid, it is turning a blue litmus into red litmus. Then NO2 vapors. This NO2 vapors is passed into I minus solution. Now what happens means NO2 is undergoing reduction, therefore it is producing NO. I minus undergoing oxidation, therefore I2 is produced. Now color of NO2. Color of NO2. Color of NO2 is reddish brown. Color of NO2 is reddish brown color. Color of NO2. Color of NO2 is reddish brown. Color of NO2 is reddish brown and it is having what means pungent smell. It is having pungent smell. Now which substance? Already we have seen one reddish brown. What is that? that is bromine vapors. So bromine vapors are reddish brown, NO2 vapors also reddish brown. Both are pungent. Bromine is pungent, NO2 also pungent. Bromine is reddish brown, NO2 is reddish brown. Bromine is pungent, NO2 also pungent. Bromine is turning blue litmus into red, NO2 also turns blue litmus into red. Blue litmus into red. Okay. Next, next we'll see. So in dry heating test, what are the possibilities in the sense liberation of gas? Liberation of gas. Okay. So liberation of gas in the sense gas is color or colorless, and gas is odor or odorless. Okay. Next possibility in the dry heating test. Next possibility in the dry heating test is sublimate. Sublimate. Next possibility is sublimate. Sir, what is sublimate? How this sublimate will be there? That we'll see. Let us take a test tube. Let us take a test tube like this. Test tube we have taken. In this test tube, let us take a ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride salt we have taken. Okay. We are taking a ammonium chloride solid. We are taking ammonium chloride solid. Ammonium chloride solid we have taken. This let us place over the flame. Let us place over the flame. What happens we have to observe. If you observe what is the result we will get. What is the observance? Observation is here only we have taken salt. Now where ammonium chloride will be there means ammonium chloride will be deposited here. Ammonium chloride will be deposited here. It is what in the sense ammonium chloride. It is ammonium chloride. Okay. This is what means ammonium chloride. Okay. Next we will see. Now ammonium chloride where it is present, you see that this ammonium chloride. Here ammonium chloride we have taken, but now ammonium chloride is there here. Ammonium chloride is there here as a white sublimate. Ammonium chloride present as a white sublimate. Ammonium chloride present as a white sublimate. Here no longer ammonium chloride. Here ammonium chloride not there. Next we will do here. Let us keep a flame here. Let us introduce flame here. Let us introduce flame here. If you introduce flame here, what happens to the white sublimate? What happens to the white sublimate? You will see the white sublimate will be here and here. White sublimate will be here and here. Here in this place, empty gap. Empty gap. Empty gap will be there. So what happens when you introduce flame here? When you introduce flame here, here in this place, white ammonium chloride will be there. That will undergo sublimation. That ammonium chloride vapors will move either this direction or in this direction. Therefore, only here empty gap. This side ammonium chloride. This side also ammonium chloride. Right side ammonium chloride. Left side ammonium chloride. Between left and right, empty gap is present. Okay. Now, in the sublimate, two possibilities are there. One is colored sublimate, another one is colorless sublimate. Okay. If you get colorless sublimate, if you get a colorless sublimate, if you get a colorless sublimate, what are the possibilities? That is ammonium halide, mercurous chloride, and mercury chloride. Mercury chloride. So in the sublimate, two possibilities are there. One is white sublimate, another one is colored sublimate. White sublimate in the sense ammonium halide. Next possibility mercurous chloride. Next possibility mercury chloride. Now to this let us pass H2S gas. Let us pass H2S gas. What happens that we will see. Now this ammonium halide is not affected with H2S. Ammonium halide is not affected with H2S. Now mercurous chloride. Mercurous chloride with H2S. What happens that we will see. Mercurous chloride with H2S. Now Cl minus present as it is. This mercury is having +1 oxidation number with what means H2S gas. With H2S gas, what is the possibility? What is the possibility of converting in the sense this mercurous ion we can write Hg plus 1 single bond Hg plus 1. It is a mercurous ion. Mercurous ion we will write like this. Mercurous ion Hg plus 1 single bond Hg plus 1. Hg plus 1 we will write. It is a mercurous ion. So mercurous ion formula is Hg2 2 plus. Mercurous ion formula is Hg2 2 plus. It is a mercurous ion formula. Mercurous ion formula Hg2 2 plus. Why it is existing in the dimeric form? Why does it exist in? Why does mercurous exist in dimeric form? That we'll see. Let us take mercury. Mercury is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration for mercury is xenon, xenon 4f14, xenon 4f14, 5d10, xenon 4f14, 5d10, next 6s2, 6p2, 6s2, 6p2. Now we will see ground state configuration. Ground state configuration, if you see, 6s is having 2 electrons, 6p is having 2 electrons. 6p is having 2 electrons. Okay, it is a ground state configuration for mercury. Now this is a 6s2 only will be there, 6p2 will not be there. Sorry, here we committed mistake. 6p2 will not be there, only 6s2. 6s also not 2, 6s is 1. 6s is what means 1. 6s is 1. Why 6s is 1 in the sense 6s is 1 and 5d is how much? 5d is no. Here it is correct only. 6s is 2 only. So 5d is 10. 5d is 10. 6s is 2. Sorry. Okay. It is coming under which group in the sense zinc, cadmium, mercury, copper nation. Zinc, cadmium, mercury, copper nation. So mercury is having xenon 4f14, 5d10, 6s2. Xenon is 54. 54 plus 14, 68. Plus 10, 78. 78 plus 2, 80. So 80 is the atomic number for mercury. Now Hg plus 1 will take Hg plus 1. Hg plus 1 electronic configuration is xenon, xenon 4f14, 5d10, 6s1, 6s1. So since it is having one unpaired electron, it is having one unpaired electron. So Hg plus 1, Hg plus 1 is having one unpaired electron. Another Hg plus 1 is having one unpaired electron. Between these two unpaired electrons, a bond is possible. Therefore, mercurous ion exists as a Hg plus 1 single bond Hg plus 1. So that Hg2 2 plus. So mercurous ion will write Hg plus 1 single bond Hg plus 1, that is Hg2 2 plus. Hg2 2 plus is the mercurous ion. Now in this Hg2 2 plus, Hg2 2 plus we have written. In this one Hg plus takes an electron and becomes mercury. Another Hg plus donate an electron and become Hg2 plus. Hg2 plus takes sulfide and gives HgS. This HgS is black. This HgS is black. HgS is black. Okay, mercurous chloride. Mercurous chloride with moist H2S gas. Mercurous chloride with moist H2S gas. What happens means disproportionation reaction is possible. In this disproportionation reaction, one Hg plus 1 is converting into mercury, another Hg plus 1. Another Hg plus 1 is converting into Hg2 plus. Hg2 plus takes sulfide and gives HgS. Okay. Now, what about this mercury chloride? This mercury chloride with H2S gives HgS plus HCl. This mercury chloride with H2S gives HgS plus HCl. This is also black. This is also black. So this also black we are saying. Okay. Now, here white sublimate possibility we have considered. This white sublimate is ammonium halide or mercurous chloride or mercury chloride, because all three are white sublimate. Ammonium halide, mercurous chloride, mercury chloride, all three are white sublimate. This white sublimate with H2S, this white sublimate with H2S moisture, what happens means no, not affected. Ammonium halide is not affected. This white sublimate with H2S in the presence of moisture. What is the result? Ammonium halide is not affected with H2S. Mercurous chloride is affected with H2S. In what way? In the sense, mercurous ion we will write as Hg22 plus. Mercurous ion is Hg plus 1 single bond Hg plus 1. This Hg plus 1 is taking electron and becomes a mercury. This Hg plus 1 donating one electron and becomes a mercuric sulfide. Now it is black. It is black appearance. This HgCl2 is white sublimate. This with moist H2S gas gives a black, that is HGS. So here we have seen in the dry heating test, white sublimate possibility we have considered. White sublimate may be ammonium halide, mercurous chloride, mercuric chloride. How to distinguish? Ammonium halide is not affected by a H2S gas. Mercurous chloride and mercuric chloride is affected by H2S gas. Mercurous chloride and mercuric chloride with H2S gas gives a black precipitate, that is a HGS. That means mercurous chloride and mercuric chloride are a white substance that is converting into black with H2S gas. Okay, so white sublimate, how to distinguish this white sublimate substances we have seen. Next we'll see next possibility in dry heating test. Next possibility in dry heating test is a crackling noise. The crackling noise is called a decrepitation. The crackling noise is called a decrepitation. Decrepitation. Some salts are undergoing decrepitation. Decrepitation in the sense crackling noise. Which salt? Which salt in the sense lead nitrate? Lead nitrate undergoes a decrepitation. Lead nitrate undergoes a decrepitation. That means lead nitrate is uh, lead nitrate gives a crackling noise on heating. Lead nitrate gives crackling noise on heating. How sodium chloride gives crackling noise on heating? If sodium chloride falls over the flame, we will get crackling noise. Like that, lead nitrate gives a crackling noise, decrepitation. This how it will be there, that we will see. Now we will take a test tube. In the test tube, we will take a lead nitrate. We will take. We are taking lead nitrate. Lead nitrate salt we will take. Lead nitrate salt. This lead nitrate salt on heating, what happens means we are getting crackling noise. Due to crackling noise, and that crackling noise makes the test tube to break, so that in the test tube some places if you see crack also will be there. Some test tubes will get crack on heating a lead nitrate. So lead nitrate gives crackling noise. That due to crackling noise, this test tube is getting a crack. This test tube is getting crack. So some salts are undergoing showing decrepitation on dry heating. Sorry, okay. Next possibility in dry heating. Next possibility in dry heating is what in the sense residue. Residue in the sense remaining substance. Residue in the sense remaining substance. For example, we will take lead nitrate salt. We will take lead nitrate salt on dry heating gives one gas is called nitrogen dioxide gas. Another gas is called oxygen gas. Next one is called metal oxide. Metal oxide is lead oxide. This lead oxide is a solid. It is a residue. This residue is having brown in color in hot condition and yellow in color in cold condition. Yellow in cold condition. Lead nitrate is a colorless salt. Lead nitrate is colorless salt. This colorless salt on heating is NO2 gas. NO2 gas is reddish brown. NO2 gas is reddish brown. O2 is colorless and residue is metal oxide. Metal oxide is plumbous oxide, that is PbO. PbO is having brown in color in the hot condition and yellow in color in the cold condition. Sir, in the residue, next possibility we'll see. In the residue, next possibility we'll see. We will take a zinc sulfate salt. We are taking a zinc sulfate salt. Zinc sulfate salt on dry heating gives a zinc sulfate salt on dry heating gives a zinc oxide solid, zinc oxide residue, and sulfur trioxide. Sulfur trioxide gas. This zinc oxide residue is yellow in color. Yellow in color in a hot condition. Yellow in color in hot condition and colorless. Colorless in cold condition. Colorless in cold condition. Zinc oxide is yellow in hot and colorless in cold. So these are the test, these are the observations we have to see in the dry heating test. So in the dry heating test, what are the things we have to observe? We have to observe gas. Next we have to observe color of the gas. Next we have to observe smell of the gas. Next we have to observe sublimate. Next we have to see sublimate. Next we have to see residue. Next we have to observe crackling noise. These and all we have to observe. Sir, okay. Now we will take a lead nitrate salt. Lead nitrate salt we will take. This lead nitrate salt is colorless. This lead nitrate salt is colorless. This on dry heating gives a reddish brown gas. This on dry heating gives a reddish brown gas. What is that reddish brown gas? That is NO2, which is a pungent smell. So lead nitrate salt is solid, it is colorless. This on dry heating gives a gas which is having color, which is having a pungent odor. Okay. Next, this lead nitrate salt gives a crackling noise. Therefore, it is decrepitate. The salt undergoes a decrepitation. Then this lead nitrate salt on dry heating results a residue. The residue contains lead oxide. Residue contains lead oxide. This lead oxide is brown in hot and yellow in cold. So lead nitrate salt on dry heating results these three observations. One is gas, one is a decrepitation, one is a residue. So for lead nitrate salt, we have to observe these three. We have to observe these three. We have to observe. Okay. So like this, metal salts undergoing dry heating test. So dry heating test, what are the things we have to observe? One is gas. In the gas, color or colorless. Then odor or odorless. Next, we have to see sublimate. We have to see sublimate. Next, we in the sublimate also white sublimate is there and colored sublimate is there. Colored sublimate in the sense iodine vapors are colored sublimate. Sir, okay. Sublimate we have to see. Next we have to see residue. Residue color in hot condition we have to see, and in cold condition we have to see. Residue in the sense in hot condition what is the color, in cold condition what is the color, we have to see. Okay, these are the points come under dry heating test. Okay, next preliminary test. We will go for next preliminary test, that is called charcoal cavity test. That is called charcoal cavity test. It is another preliminary test, charcoal cavity test. Let us take a charcoal piece. We'll take a piece of charcoal. We are taking a piece of charcoal. Piece of charcoal we have taken. Then in this piece of charcoal, let us make a cavity. Let us make a cavity. Okay, we made a cavity in the piece of charcoal. So in the piece of charcoal, we made cavity here. We made cavity here. Then you take the given salt. Then you take the given salt. To the given salt, add sodium carbonate. Then mix them, and crush them into powder form. Crush them into powder form using spatula. Using spatula, you are crushing the salt and sodium carbonate. They are mixing thoroughly and gives a powder form. This powder form we have to take in this cavity. So in this cavity, what we are taking in the sense, this powder substance we are taking in this cavity. Powder substance we are taken in this cavity. Next, we are considering the flame. In the flame, two types are possible. One is called a oxidizing flame and another one is called a reducing flame. So in the flame, if you see two flames we can see. One is one flame like this. Another flame, if you see how it will be there, means another flame will be here like this will be there. Another flame will be like this. Another flame will be like this. Now in these two flames, this flame is appearing like a blue color. This flame is appearing like blue color. This is called a oxidizing flame. This is called a oxidizing flame. This is a oxidizing flame, we will say. Now this